Hi guys, we've actually continued to go down Comic Book Alley or Artist Alley, and we found another amazing artist, Vo, who is behind all of this artwork that we see here on the table, but behind one special comic called Survivor, if you don't mind me grabbing that here. Okay. Survivor, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about it, we met one of the characters that it's based on, but since you're the artist, you know more all the intimate details of the comic.
Sure, let me go ahead and actually I'm more like the publisher of it, Big Deal Publication. I actually did this cover right here. And this is actually done by Brandon Peterson, who's actually world-renowned for his artwork from Marvel, DC, and many other brands. Okay. And here's my variant cover, which is nothing compared to Brandon, but, you know, I try. But as for the book, Big Deal Publication is where we work with someone that's larger than life, that has experienced a lot of hardships, you know, like all of us. So we try to capture that story aspect of it, and that's where everybody's a big deal, right? Okay. And then in the book, Mckenna is one of the characters, and then Michels, which is her close friend, who's actually an artist, and she basically has epilepsy since she was little, so she has seizures. And when she has these seizures, she sees visions of another world where Mckenna is actually the hero in the story. It correlates where she fights supernatural beings, and it correlates to Michels in the real world, how she overcomes like hardships and stuff like that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And okay, so this is more along the lines of a kind of a horror type or mystical, or what would you classify the category of this?
Suspense.
Suspense,
and,
okay.
Yeah. And yeah, horror also.
Okay.
Because it has.
So it's a little bit of everything.
Yep. And here's some of the artists. There's actually two artists that does the interior. One is actually John Lucas, who does like the more detail and the art side of it, where Mckenna is actually drawing it out in the other world. And then the simpler version is actually done by Terry PR, who does a simple, more artsy, like, you know, animated style. And it's very simple, a lot of motions behind it.
Awesome. That sounds great. And you said that this is currently already available, at least the book one is already out. How far are you guys going to go with this? Is it a limited run series? Or are you guys going to be ongoing? Or
right now it's going to start off as a mini series. Okay. And then after that, you know, it depends on where it takes off.
All right. And if we can get our special someone to just come on in and talk a little bit more about her character in this book.
Let me take this stuff out here from Mckenna.
Sorry about that.
Back again on screen.
It's me, Harley Quinn.
If you don't mind telling us a little bit more about our character, because he said that you're prominently featured in the comic book, so go ahead and let us know how your character works in the issue.
So, I'll tell you a little bit about my music first.
Okay.
So, I just released my first album, full length, in June. And one of the songs on that album is called Survivor. Okay. And I wrote it initially on my own. And then I met a girl who's actually been a lifelong friend of my manager's, and she has had a rough go at life, but is the strongest person I've ever met. She had a stroke when she was 5 weeks old and has suffered epilepsy recurringly because of that. And
she's also in the comic, right?
She is. She is the main character in the comic aside from myself. But I met her, and the song kind of just like became about her after meeting her and hearing her story. So the way that I process my trauma, my platform actually advocates for people who are victims of abuse of any kind, because I was abused as a kid, and I talk about that very openly. Doesn't hurt me anymore, and actually my songs have helped me heal from the trauma I went through. But the way that she heals from her trauma and her health problems is actually by drawing. So we decided to collaborate and use my songs that I use for healing and art that she uses for healing and create a story together.
That is an amazing origin story for this comic. That's awesome. So he did tell us that it's already out, but we don't know where we can actually find this at. Is there a website where we can get this on? Is it available with stores yet?
So we are working with Dragon's Lair to create sales through them. Okay. There's a comic chain throughout Texas. Yes. And then also, it will be on my website. It's not yet, but my website is Mckenna, M-C-K-E-N-N-A, Michels, M-I-C-H-E-L-S, music.com. And there will be eventually a merch store to go along with the album, and of course Survivor. There's going to be enamel pin shirts and comics and posters for sale as well.
Okay, awesome. All right, so like I said, once again, book one's already out, so make sure you go and visit the webpage so that way you can see how you can actually get a copy of it, because I'm excited to read it and know more about it. And do you know when book two is going to come out?
Book 2 is probably going to be out with the next album or the next single, depending on how things go for my career.
Yes, and definitely go get some of her music as well.
Yeah, it's doing well. Born to Die was my most recent single, and the video has over 600,000 views on it.
Also, the music is available on what? On iTunes, Spotify?
It is available on all streaming platforms as well as all music purchasing platforms.
Well, I thank you very much for your time once again, and we can't wait to hear more from you.
Thank you so much. Come find us at Giganticon in Killeen.
There you go, guys.